Go ahead, madam.
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to put it in the
slide display ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಮೇಡಮ್. ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ವಾ ಅಥವಾ ಏನು ಮೇಡಮ್?
ಇಲ್ಲ ನಾನು
ಆಗಿದೆ ಮೇಡಮ್. ಡಿಸಾಸ್ಟರ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ಶೋ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ.
Yeah, now I'm
full screen ಆಯ್ತು ಮೇಡಮ್. ಮೂವತ್ತು ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. Yes ma'am, fine.
Can you see everything?
Second slide ಹೊರಡೋದ್ರಿ ಮೇಡಮ್. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ವಾಪಸ್ ಬನ್ನಿ ಮೇಡಮ್.
Okay.
Yes madam. Disaster ma'am. Fine ma'am.
Yeah.
Fine ma'am. Thank you. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, ma'am. It's visible, ma'am.
Okay, good afternoon. I'm sorry we are getting late, I believe. This is a session with respect to gender and disaster management. Is it okay if I speak in both Kannada and English?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anybody, if you don't follow me, maybe you can just let me know. I am going to just move my slide. Basically, we look for some kind of officers who are there in the online session. I expect all of you to know a little bit, though you are familiar with the roles and all, but I want to emphasize here why we are relooking on the gender roles. And this, maybe you will be in a position to explain that, appreciate why we are doing this, and how disaster management should be looked through the gender lens while we are discussing this. And also the health issues that are the major issues that affect both male and female, but at the same time how it is, maybe you will be in a position to distinguish better how it is going to be affecting most of the women at times. And so that is how we are looking at, and what are the measures, how we can go about. So these are our objectives for this 1 hour 50 and a small slide. Maybe I want all of you to interact on this. This is our school. If I can take all of you back to your school days, and how do you feel that how it is, how do you think we learned? Is this the typical classroom that each one of us we had, or do you think there is something, some different way of maybe you might have had a table and chair, but otherwise, is this the way we used to sit?
Yes,
Girls,
we did have table and chair, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, and this is a typical Indian way, but
gender
these days...
differentiation, madam.
Sorry?
Gender differentiation. Male girls and boys are differently they are seated.
Very true. And as you enter into the school, we get to know that this is how it is. And most of the time it is like, girls and boys have got a demarcation. Maybe you might be seeing this. There is a line of line which says you need to sit towards the girl side, not towards the boy side. And the difference is very clear. And so most of the time we get to know that we are supposed to do this, and we are taught this, and we are it is like hammering every time that being a girl, you need to behave like a girl. Being a boy, you need to behave like a boy. So most of the time we have this tendency to even for a during the recess, where it is like you go with only them. And I now see in my workplace, I see that all the all the same concept that we have. When we see that there is a male and a female talking, we just start thinking, what is there? There should be something going on with them. So this is all hammered in our head, and we are not ready to take that a male and a female can go together. So these are some things that maybe we need to change, and we should change. But how do we change is a question mark for all of us. And as I move my slide, because we need to see again here that there are some inequalities. When the child is born, we hardly distinguish between them as a male and a female. But as the child comes into the world, we say, okay, is it a girl? Let the girl have a frock. And if it is a boy, you distinguish the boy with a play item. It would be some mechanical item or anything that even a gun, not for a girl, but for it's given to a boy. So you go to a shop, you ask for a gift for a child. The shopkeeper would definitely ask, is it a boy or a girl? So that is how we distinguish as early in the early days for any child. And as we see this gender inequality, it's not only hammered in us, it is also with respect to the disaster risks, I should say, because most of the time it is like, if it is a female, you just say, okay, the female can adjust. It is like, anywhere she can adjust. But when it comes to male, they also need some space, and they ask for so many things. But female, they say, okay, let it be, I will adjust with this. And so all these adjustments are with female. That is most likely to happen when it comes to disaster. We were having a visit while we had a disaster in Madikeri. Maybe all of the Kannadigas are aware of it. Because of this landslide and all, heavy rains, landslide in Madikeri. And I visited this, the shelter home where all the women were placed. And they said, okay, madam, we are okay with this. Can we get something that we need? And so there were so many men standing there. So they said, let the men go. We want to speak to only ladies. And so we were just talking to them, and they said, madam, can we have some kind of, sanitary pads? And can we have some place to hide, some place where we can have ourselves covered when we go for the toilet and taking bath? Because these were all makeshift arrangements that were done. And even the plank that was there, which was made as boats, even that had small holes, which means there was something that they were not feeling happy. And definitely, yes, there is something. But when we had another discussion with the male, they said, no, this is comfortable. Only thing is food should be good. So cooking should be neat and clean, and the food should be good. And anything else, give us, what is that, blankets and all that. We are fine with that. So women had a different issue to say, but while men had a different story to tell. So all these differences happen only when we just find, go to their place, ask them how it is, and all this, there are various issues that bother both of them, but most likely it is the female. And so how do we want to address this is something that we need to know. And I was just thinking about this gender difference and sex difference, distinguish between these two when we ask anybody. So sex is something that all of us know, that sex is biological, and gender is something like societal. And so we hardly think about the biological difference when we are at school, when we are born. But as and when you go into the school, you start thinking about all these differences. And definitely, yes, as all of you are from the education department, I would say, I hope all of you are from education department. I don't know if there are anybody else. We were just discussing about sex education for the school children in 8th standard and all. And so when we started doing this education, sex education for school children, there were ministers and all who started telling, don't teach sex education, because that is how the boys get spoiled. It's not about the spoiling of boys, but it is giving awareness to the boys what the whole education talks about. But when it comes to sex and gender, we largely talk about only the gender these days, and not about the sex. Sex is it's not the act that we are talking about, but it is the biological features that we are talking about. And so if we can think about all that, maybe we have a better understanding about the disasters too. And so and we also talk about, it's not only the masculine and feminine characters that we are looking in gender. We are also talking about the others in gender. Others are, it could be gay, bisexual, transgenders. All these, all of them definitely should be addressed when it comes to disaster, because it irrespective of all that, because when you are given, when you get into that shelter home, you are distinguished as male and female only, and it's not male and female. At the other end, there are others who are also there. And so how do you want to accommodate them when it comes to disaster? So let us all be aware of this, and hope all of you are in some of the committees. There are it's not only national level disaster management committee, we also have district level, taluk level, even the ward level committees are formed. And so I request all of you to be in one of the committees, because you being on in the teaching field, you will be one of the brand ambassadors to alert people how to move about when it comes to disaster. And so the committee should be in a position to understand how to go about. And so you will be in a better position to tell them where you need to the right person to ring the bell, I should say. So that is how it is. And so it's not only we are not looking at a person as a whole, but we are looking in the through the lens of gender, because each of them are suffering in a different way because of our societal norms again. Am I clear on this? I don't know, because anyway, this is an online session, and if
yes, ma'am, it's clear.
If you have anything that you want to ask me, please stop me. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And as I move on, I just want to inform you that it is again the society that which keeps us on our toes, which says you have a gender role to play. And so when you talk about a tailor, it is not yeah, of course, these days there are male, but earlier it is only the female whom we used to think, okay, there should be a female tailor, and vice versa. As you progress to a city, you would think, a lady's tailor should be a male these days. And when we look at a lady as a, lady's tailor, we would ask, can you really stitch the blouse properly? So that is how we have started, distinguish between the roles again. Earlier roles were different, but these days the roles are different. And definitely, the farmer role has never changed. Farmer means it is only male. So chef means male. But when it comes to cooking, female. So you cook at home. Anybody cooks, but it doesn't have so much taste like a female cooks. That is how every person distinguishes between the roles, and so the roles are different. You call a judge, you ask about a judge, it should be a male, and it cannot be a female. Lawyers, again, lawyers, we have seen only the male lawyers in the films, movies, that who would just go there, fight for the cause of some hero or heroine, but we have never felt that there should be a female lawyer also. So every time it is like, whatever we have been taught, we are just reflecting it. And as you saw the earlier clip, even today, every person feel that in our government hierarchy, they feel that teachers role should be played by only female and not a male, and principal or headmaster's role should be played by a male. And it is there, it is ingrained in each one of us, and so based on that, it keeps moving. And so let us be open, let us start thinking about in a different way, so that we can understand how better we can make the society different roles. And hope you had some disaster management class earlier before this.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm not getting into, I don't want to dive into this disaster management definition and all. So I just wanted to bring to your notice that there are some things that which really affects, like disaster management doesn't stop at only the hazard. It is also the disaster, the search and rescue operation, the relief, the rehabilitation, mitigation, and preparedness. And so we want you to get into some kind of preparedness mitigation efforts, so that we are not going to get into the disaster per se. So if you can just be a part of one of the preparedness team, which can help everyone to get through, that is our motto. And so I request all of you to ensure that you are going to be there. And so disaster and vulnerability, when you look at all that, we have different types of vulnerability. Basically, it is the physical vulnerability, because most of the, after the post disaster, we see there are people who have suffered physically, and so physical, emotional, everything comes into this disaster. And the other one is economic. You don't have so much money to fund yourself to eat, drink, dress up, whatever, but at the same time you also have to take care of yourself, your family, and your health. So that is another vulnerability that we feel. And the social tag that comes, vulnerability that comes through the disaster is yet another thing that which makes everyone feel that there is some kind of let go kind of a thing. There is somewhere you are not taken together, you are left alone. All this happens, and so how do we ensure that the whole society stands together and helps each other, because we are never taught all that. Now everything, whenever we teach ourselves, it is like, people think that, okay, now as soon as the child grows up, we talk about which stream or which course is going to help you get more money. So is it engineering, is it doctor? Even in each streams we would look for, and so we would teach only the children about all that. But why do we really look at all that? Can we also think about societal responsibility? Can we teach the children how to shoulder the societal responsibility, so that even if there is a disaster, they can take care of all that? And if I because these are another thing is about the environmental vulnerability, where we also think about, we don't think about how it is going to affect in a long run. You can think about so many disasters, even the Bhopal gas tragedy that has happened. There we hardly feel that it was not a one-time thing. It has spilled over for years together, and even now it is happening. People have a lot of issues, health issues, based on the gas tragedy that has happened. And so every disaster that happens, it has a spillover effect that really carries forward. And so that should not be should not be a part of the whole thing. And so how do we manage that? How do we ensure that there is no environmental effect that is going to hamper? And these days we talk a lot about the cultural integrity, the heritage to be taken care of. Even you ask about your some dishes that has been prepared in your homes. We try to ensure that these heritage, it gets into that heritage tag. But the buildings that we have already, if there is an earthquake and the buildings collapse, and we hardly get to reconstruct it. And so there are cultural issues that it's not only the building, but also maybe our way of life that is also associated with that. And you can name anything, like education, maybe attitudinal changes that happen, even the political changes that happen because of the disaster. All this disaster has got one or the other effect on human race, and human race as a whole. But in particular, there are women who are really affected by this, because even today, if you go to YouTube, and you want to find some kind of dishes that is being made by our parents or our ancestors, we try to find that taste. We want that taste, but we don't know how to prepare it. And so you hit this thing YouTube and try to find, but it is hardly being there. And so all these cultural changes also happen because of that. And environmental effect, definitely we just move on. As we move on, today we don't grow all that millets, because we don't find something which is valuable. And every hard work that is going to go into the growing the millets, it is really a lot of pain taken, and you just feel that, okay, you can go and buy some things like that. And so that is very that may not be the right way if it is if such disasters happen. And so disasters are not only maybe earthquake or all that, but we are also looking at some kind of disasters which really pinch on our attitudes also. And most of the I heard one of the farmer in Pune, who, we were having a program in Pune, and this farmer, he came and he said, we don't want our children to be working on the farm, because we hardly get rain on the one side, we don't have irrigation facility, and so let the child go out and at least earn something. Even if he is a peon in an office, that is fine. So the farmer thinks even his child can be a peon, not a farmer, because of all this rain, torrential rain that's happening quite often. And he says, every time there is a flood and my crops are destroyed and I hardly get anything back. And so why are we wasting our time in the field? And yes, we need to really make a shift in this. Okay, and as I move on, maybe I would also like to bring out some kind of vulnerability that happens to both men and women separately. And so when we look at men as if there is a vulnerability that hits the men, it is like every society, they feel that men are the breadwinners, and all the responsibilities upon the men. And if the men folk in that area has got any issues with health issues, and if he is not in a position to do due to the disaster, then he has to take a backseat, and it is again the female at the in the household who should be running the show. And if if there is a man who has issues where his wife is not there, wife or the female partner is not there, then it is again he hardly knows how to take care of the child that is also there. I remember one of the officers who was informing me that most of them there were a group of men who were having a discussion, because most of the men in that area, because of some visit that the ladies planned, and they met with an accident, and these men were left with only their children at home. And the woman died because of the accident, and they started discussing, telling that we neither know how to cook, we neither know how to take care of the children, and now what we should be doing with the children is the question that they were posing to the officer. And so the officer said, unless there is some kind of skill development among the men, how to even caretaking is something that due to gender roles, we still don't expect men to take care of the children. Again, due to gender roles, we hardly tell the men to cook or take care of the house. And so these gender roles have have really put the men, after the disaster, they are not in a position to take care of their home properly. So these are the impacts that happen. It may not be the disaster per se, but it can be also due to any reason, they should be in a position to do this. So men should also be having an equal opportunity to run the show at home, as well as in the office or anywhere that he is working. And so that is family responsibility, is something that they should be in a position to tackle. So even I have heard ladies telling, kitchen is our our area, our territory, or something like that. So and so women don't expect men to get into the kitchen. And so if there is a disaster, it falls on them only. They should be in a position to take care of that. And so if you are having students working, students under you, please tell them how to equip themselves with the household chores, so that they can be they can face whatever disaster it comes through. And so these are some of the issues that come, even the result of trauma and stress and trauma. Men are not in a position to take care of that, or they are not in a position to withstand that and face that. Even today, men are told, you should not be crying like a girl. So if the men are not in a position to, not allowed to cry, they are not allowed to take care of themselves, then how it is going to how they will be leading their life when it comes to disasters. We are not expecting disasters to come, but we are equipping them to have a better life. That is how our way of teaching should be. And so let us teach everyone how to face the whole world without terrorizing anybody, but let us give them equal and fair chance to skill up themselves. And crying is not ladies' job. And if someone says, don't cry like a girl, or don't cry like a woman, so tell them crying is human, and so they can cry. So allow them to cry, allow them to express their feelings, allow them to come out with their emotions. And that is what we should be doing with the male. And so every male should get an opportunity to come out, and it's a stress relief. Let them relieve themselves with all the stress. Let them not feel that they are alone. And I always feel like talking about our cafe day owner. Do you remember his name? Cafe day owner?
Siddharth.
Exactly, Siddharth. And so Siddharth is one of them whom we always would like to look up, and we would want to know how he could have lived, and this a small issue that for us it is a small issue, for maybe for him it is a big issue. But when it comes to the issue that is there in their life, they should be in a position to discuss with each other. And so we have never taught men to discuss the issue. And so Siddharth is one of them. Maybe we all should be telling people never to take such drastic steps, and let us share love and care for each other. Otherwise we will have more Siddharths on this planet, because of their issues that they think it is too much. And so disasters you speak, you cry on others' shoulder, and you are in a position to handle that. But it is not true. Even men can handle. Only thing is you need to prepare them how to handle it. So if we go to the next slide, how women faces that. And so if we we can see the issues that women also have various issues when it comes to disaster, and women face a lot of issues because of that. And recent COVID-19 was yet another thing that maybe all of us are aware. it was said that most of the gender violence that happened was during the COVID, and so the helpline people would say that people the officers and officials were not in a position to travel, but there were violence happening in each of the family. And I myself have got so many calls from the officers who have gone back to their home, lady officers who went to their house, and people there, they started demanding for the maybe property. Some of them said because of lot of issues at home, they were asked to sell their ornaments during that period. And women officers, they kept on telling nav heng horgade barbeku, nammanna heng yaradru rakshane madak bartara, can we get the help of police? All that were discussed during that period. Imagine if it is a woman officer who is talking about that, how much more the general public would have faced. And so the violence is too much when it comes to disaster, because everyone wants to live, everyone wants to survive, thrive, and they want to get on the top. And so these things are unbearable when it comes to the violence, with physical violence, basically physical violence. Other than that, it is again the mental trauma that the women undergo, that is too huge. And these disasters also have the other face of disaster is, most of them, they lose their jobs during the disaster. And so how can they really stand up back on the track is a question mark for all of us. And maybe we need to rethink on all that, and maybe we need to rework our own maybe in that small area, how to rebuild, how to rework, how to bring people into that skillable, workable environment, is something that all of us need to think about. And as I was telling about women having issues with various issues, and especially with their body, and there is hardly any space for women to stay while they stay in shelter homes. And so we need to really make efforts in taking care of these women in the shelter homes. And there are incidents where there are women are being raped in the shelter homes. That is also happened. And so we need to really rethink on all that. If you have watched a movie, I don't remember the movie's name, what Bhag Milka Bhag. Bhag Milka Bhag is one of the movies that can tell you about the partition and all, Pakistan India partition. And in that disaster, it's a kind of catastrophic disaster, where women and men both are equally hit, and they are running for their life, and they are crossing borders. But you can see how women are women get into the traps of the men and all. So there are very few men who really do this, but there are many women who get affected by that. A disaster on one side, the other side, it is these few people. And so let us also have some kind of policing. If you are on that team, if you can just manage and find out how they can be saved or taken care of, that will be really good if you can do that. And also about the various kinds of skilling up. We need to start working on these women on skilling up, and how to give them more ability to stand up on their own is something that we should be able to do. So these are some of the impacts that happen during the disaster for exclusively women. And so you really know that end of the day, it is known women who either are heading the family all alone, taking care of the children, or they are left alone, and they become widows, and they hardly get a chance to marry. Even the refugees become refugee women, homeless women. There are so many types of and especially with the elderly women, we need to be it's not only elderly women, it's also elderly men who are greatly affected. And so we can't really distinguish between men and women when it is elderly. And so they are also having a lot of issues with the tackling with the disasters. And pregnant women, definitely, if she is pregnant and the disaster happens, very well how it is going to affect that woman. And if she has to deliver during that time, during that period of disaster, then that is still worse, because you don't have a proper place, and due to the delivery, there can be all kind, maybe mortality can happen, there can be infections, all that is possible. And so we need to have proper it's a kind of backup plan by the district authorities, which should help the even if there is no disaster, let there be a backup plan for everyone, so that they can ensure that there is no such issues that is going to affect any of the people. Definitely, yes, when it comes to they have all the medical team is there. There is psychosocial team is there, who is going to give all kinds of support. But it is not enough. It is people's all the people who are there, who need to strengthen the people who are in disaster. So we need to really take care of them. And during disaster, one more thing that I need to emphasize here is the adolescent girls, the girls who really don't know what is happening around. But she needs to get more support, because she might with all the care that she comes through, and all of a sudden she gets to know what is happening. She has a lot of issues to cope up with. And so there should be some kind of counseling session that is happening for the adolescent girls as well. Nourishment is yet another problem for both male and female, but female in particular, because malnourished children and girls and children, women, are found during the disaster and post-disaster as well, because they are emotionally affected, and so they also don't take enough nourished food, though it is available, or maybe it is not available also. But malnourishment is quite common among the women during the disaster, and so that also should be taken care of. And this is the maybe you can see two pictures out there. It's about the story that we talk about, a fox and a crane which goes for a dinner party, and both of them are given food in a plate. And if it is a plate, how can the crane eat, or how can who will eat fast, and how can we ensure that both of them eats the right dish using the right utensil. So what is the utensil that you are expecting each one of them to have? And this is the same way how we need to really think about our people, human being who are affected by the disaster. And so it is not only enough that you talk about only the female or a male in separate terms, but both are affected and both need a lot of support. And so there can be men who are getting migrated because of the disaster, but end of the day it should not be that women are left in that place and they have to face the same bugle. And so both should be given equal care while such disasters happen. And it is you give plate to the plate for a fox, and a bottle where the beak can enter for the crane. Maybe these are the two ways by which you can feed both of them equally. So let us plan to give both of them the right things to be. It's not only with respect to the shelter, it is also with respect to the all the other external support, like it could be emotional support, all that political support. It's not only the it's also the willpower of the politicians how to take care of that disaster affected area. And as we move on to to the gender engendering the disaster management, we need to really think about there are issues that still persist. And so with respect to the health, and so there should be lot of support and a lot of resources to be pumped to take care of the health of the woman, because after the disaster it is women largely hit by the health issues, and that should be taken care. And again, as I said, it is the lactating and pregnant woman who really needs a lot of support, and which is not taken care when it comes to disaster management. We have a blanket way of discussing this, deciding that when disaster comes, let us do this, but it is not true. When the disaster comes, these are the people who are hard hit, and so we need to take care of them. And menstruation is not something that we can let go. Every one of us, we need to discuss, decide, and find ways by which we can appreciate that it is a kind of taboo right now. But let us break this taboos, and let us place it before people and say even menstruation is fine. Anybody should people should not feel wrong about it. The social taboos are still there. I was in one of the villages in Gulbarga, and they had a hamlet there nearby, and this hamlet, they had all these people staying there. It's a small hamlet, and outside the hamlet there was a small hut, and I went there, and I couldn't even stand for a minute because of the smell inside that hut. And it was a closed hut, no ventilation, no air. circulation. It was a closed place. And in that place, I could see there were two ladies, and one was having a feeding child. I asked, where do you cook? She doesn't have a place to cook. And so she said, I don't cook. It is like a place where we are given food here. And it was too strange. And they said they come with the food. They just put the food in that plate that they have kept in that place. The plate, they don't touch the plate either. They just pour the food into the plate, and the mother and the child can eat. That lady, the girl, another girl was there. It seems she was menstruated, and so she had to stay there for 5. I asked both if both were relatives. They said no, they are not relatives, but they are they had to stay in that place because of these taboos. And so the social taboos are still there. Everyone, they are supposed to go by that. And even the mother with that child, she could not go to house till till 3 months or sometime. They said 3 or 4 months she had to stay in that small hut. And once the child was was grown up for another 5 months, and they had some ritual, and they had to go back. But till then, it was that only lady who was staying there without any care. And these are some of the things that quite happens, even during disasters. And disasters, they would ask, disaster doesn't ask if you are a lady or a gents, if you are which class, which religion, which disaster just happens. And so why don't we also start changing our attitude towards all these social taboos, and come up and do our humanitarian work, instead of distinguishing ourselves on these grounds. And even disasters, when disasters hit, it is most likely that women get all these urinary tract infections are quite common among women. And so we need to really think about how to keep the hygienic washrooms and all, in order to take care of them. And again, because of if it is raining, if it is flooded area, they don't have a proper place even to dry up their cloth, inner garments and all these are issues. And so how do you expect them to stay healthy, is some kind of plan that each one of us, we need to think and plan. Otherwise, maybe it is not worth discussing so many things unless we are going to take steps and start working towards it. And even there are parents who have lost their children during disasters. And how do you want to console them? How do you want to we need to really take care of these parents who have lost their loved ones. And so maybe you need to think about having some psychological traumas that they undergo should be taken care of during the disasters. And it is more with women than with men, but definitely yes, both have equal heart. And so let us respect each of them. And as I close, we need to have some measures towards taking care of the disasters. And for that, we need to think about having different committees to take care of all the all the people, especially the women who go through all these issues. And there should be some doctors who should be, counseling them as and when required. And there should be 24/7, people. It's not only the doctors required out there. It is also people like you and me who can also take care of them. And if there are any gender-based violence that is happening during disaster or after disaster, these are the two period, people think nobody will ever come for their rescue. So we need to give some helpline support. All that should be done. And the other one that I felt is, there should be some kind of proper shelter facility for the gender, both genders. It is not necessary that you have a school building and you say you go and stay there. No, can you give a proper building, a proper stay facility for them? The shelter should be equally done up. Even today we find that school buildings, the government school buildings are reworking. And so maybe we need to take care of that before we think about disasters. And the relief measures do happen, but who are the ones who it is the able-bodied people who really go get the relief in the first place. It is not both the gender, it is not the children who get the relief. So how do we manage that? How do we really need to have some mechanisms by which we can also give the relief? Maybe the food is given, maybe the water is provided, drinking water is provided, the cloths are given. But when it is given, it is the people with muscles, they just come, they just grab, they just go away. But others, they don't get what is required. So how can we plan for that? How can we distribute it equally to everybody? It is the relief measures do come, but it doesn't reach everybody. So let us take necessary steps to ensure that they get their relief share. And the other thing that we need to take care is about the livelihood generation. How long will they stay in the shelter is a question for everybody. And each one of us, we need to think about the shelter. Shelter is not permanent, and we are not going to keep them for long. And so at least during that period, can we make sure that people are going to get get all the equipped with all the skills to go out and start earning? Can we find some ways by which they can start earning? Is these measures should be taken care of. And gender, among the gender, again, we are looking at early warning. Early warning is for the disaster. When the disaster happen, we need to really think about how to plan and how to help them overcome that disaster. And if that is done, maybe half of the issue is solved. And that is what each committee should be doing. And most of the warning doesn't reach the woman. And if it reaches them, maybe we need to we can also plan well. So with this, I think I have a small clip for all of you to see. Just 1 minute. And so any questions from your end is welcome. Any questions from your end? Can you hear this?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you hear? It's
No,
only
no, no,
music.
ma'am. No, it's only picture. It's moving, but it is not getting voice.
No audio, ma'am. No voice.
Yeah, there was just music, so there was nothing much to listen for, and so it was a music that was coming up. Maybe hope you could read the subtitles that was there.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, now I request all of you to come up with some of your questions that maybe I can quickly answer before I leave. Do you think women are really vulnerable? Do you think women are vulnerable?
No, ma'am. I don't think so, but it depends on the situation actually.
Okay.
It depends
Okay.
on, yeah.
Hmm. Okay. Anybody else?
But from what context you asked that question, if you know that, so that it
It's
would
only
be easier
disaster. It's only disaster.
only disaster. Okay.
Yeah, it's basically today's topic is disaster. So I wanted to know if women are really vulnerable.
So at the time of disaster only.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why don't men think that women are vulnerable? Do you think women are vulnerable? There are many men also. What do you think children should be doing during disaster? Girl children, especially. Because we have not discussed about girl children in this program. Oh my God, you people are so silent. Hope sir has not muted all of you. I was also discussing about the cultural difference. We women have a beautiful dress to wear. Have you ever felt that, that can also be a disaster, issue that women would face during disaster? I don't remember which one it was. There was a landslide that was happening. And during the landslide, I could see the clipping shows that, the male, he ran towards the other side, while the lady who was running, she was wearing that sari. and she could not, run even halfway. By the time the landslide came and it almost hit her. And that was how it all happened. And so I don't know. So it could also be, the culture tradition can also be with respect to your dressing dress that you wear can also affect you.
But ma'am,
Right.
nobody can predict, right?
Sorry?
Nobody can predict at that time if, something
Exactly.
disaster. and all.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
if it is culture and all,
Exactly.
if some
Huh.
predictions,
So
predictions, then okay, they can.
even if there is prediction, even if it is predicted, women never think that, okay, I can wear a pant and get myself ready for this disaster. Women can't think about that, no? She is in her, sorry?
Should be, yes, that
Correct.
should be made that.
Correct. So, so culturally, women have their own ways of, the dress, especially the dress. I'm telling, if you have that dress, a sari, and you are not allowed to, you can't keep your legs run faster, then that is not advisable. So that is how maybe we need to start telling people, if there is a disaster, if it is a disaster prone area and disaster alerts are given, then you need to really think about all that. Definitely the people will be shifted even before the disaster comes, if at all, but even then, that is how it is. Even the girl children that I was talking of, maybe we need to alert them when it comes to the disasters, and so they should be in a position to know what they should be doing, what they should not be doing, when the whole thing happens. And like we talk about the good touch and bad touch, we have already taught them so many times. Can we also start teaching them something better on these lines as well? The earthquake, anytime anything can happen. So we teach them how to, take care of themselves. So all these are things that maybe we need to think about. Any questions from your end? Otherwise, I think it's a thank you from my side.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
Thank you, madam. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, madam.
Thank you.
Thank you.